Before we actually get started, let's dedicate one of these to the elephant in the room. Hey DB, what about White Roof Radio?
You're listening to White Roof Radio. This is Wolfcast number 1 for Wednesday, August 3rd, 2005.
For those of you that are new here, White Roof Radio is one of the earliest podcasts, starting back on August 1st, 2005. Also, it's one of the longest running automotive podcasts around. You can still follow on Apple Podcasts if you like, but be warned, we only really talk about one thing: Mini Coopers.
Hey, are these guys serious, like a whole show about Mini Coopers?
Just read the copy, Ben.
Alright. You're listening to White Roof Radio. Alright, how's that?
Right, so what about White Roof Radio? Well, for this, we're going to have to jump into the Wayback Machine and crank the dial to the end of 2019. I wasn't happy with the direction White Roof Radio was going. Downloads were shrinking, website visits were down, social media engagements were almost non-existent. Heck, we weren't even getting any emails. Let me skip ahead for a few months to 2020. I held a meeting with the boys and I brought up my concerns. I've been keeping an eye on what's hot in the Mini community as best I can, and I could tell you that White Roof Radio isn't that. We all don't have access to the latest version of the car, which doesn't help. We do have access to the older versions, and we've been pretty brutal about them. Mostly deserved, to be sure, but that didn't help us gain any favor with Mini or the community. This is mostly on me. I'm in no place to get a new car and haven't been for a while. I've completely lost touch with what is actually happening in the Mini community. Removing myself from Facebook didn't help. I wasn't able to steer the show in a correct direction to keep it relevant and keep listeners engaged. So we stopped. Or rather, I stopped. Then enrolls 2020. Global pandemic? Check. Global social issues? Check. United States elections? Yeah, you guys know that story. Plus everything else that 2020 shared with us. The short version is that I made the decision to stop making podcasts. Period. Full stop. While I could have kept on, my fear was, because I had an outlet, the expectation would have been to speak to the issues of the day. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to talk about cars or minis or bicycles. Not only did I not want to speak to the issues of the day, I didn't think it was appropriate content for the shows.
Hey DB, Todd, and Gabe, this is Chris Midland. Before I drunk dialed my high school PE coach, I always listened to the world-famous White Roof Radio. Cheers.
So here we are, 1 year later. It's not that I don't want to do the shows. Not at all. I would love to revamp White Roof Radio and bring it back better than ever. But it's going to need an overhaul. And those take time. Also, if you're remotely familiar with minis, money. You might have seen the new motoringfile.com podcast. That one's going to be Gabe for a bit. I got him going with a good microphone and gave him some other tips. And heck, I even edited the first one in the feed. But for now, we get this. Ride Bikes Radio is going to make a comeback soon as well if you are a fan of that show. But as far as White Roof Radio is concerned, it's going to be remaining on hiatus until a clear, new direction can be figured out. White Roof Radio is dead. Long live White Roof Radio. This is the part of the show, though, where I do like to make that funny clicking sound. And then I say, questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead, click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback@whiteroofradio.com. Until next week, gang. This is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
See ya.
Oh, dude, how long am I going to be walking around with my fly down?
Totally leaving that in, too. Thank you for listening. This was the first episode of the DonBurnside.com podcast. 1 down, 9 to go. You can click over to DonBurnside.com and leave a comment in the show description. You can message me on Twitter or Instagram as well. I'm at Don Burnside over there. If you're listening to this on the website, search my name in your favorite podcast app to get this on your playback device automatically when new episodes arrive.